Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Designers at Home. I'm Mark Weaver. This morning, Gary Gibson's going to be joining us shortly. I'll watch for him, and he should be on in a second. I'm in Newport Beach today, so this is a little different. I'm down at a job site today, hence the background. And hopefully, the jackhammering that's going on outside, and there's a crew of about 20-some people working on this project, so hopefully that's not going to be too noisy for everybody. So I decided that this would be a fun show to do because it was a year ago that Designers at Home started, and it started with Gary and I, just good friends, talking about how we were, at the start of the pandemic, how we were adapting business and so forth to the new situation and working at home. And from that, Designers at Home started. So Gary was my very first guest and was the guest on the first two shows. And so we thought it was appropriate to invite Gary back again today. Let's see, Gary, where are you? He'll be joining us, okay. Anyway, and we're going to talk a little bit about how this last year how we've adapted to working in the past year, what's changed in our industry, and talk a little bit about some of the guests we've had. Oops, here's Gary, so hang on, everyone. Go. There you are. Hi, Gary.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. So is the connection okay?
There we are. Now it is.
Yeah, I was just telling everyone that we started this a year ago. Today I'm at a construction site. So hopefully there's not going to be a lot of distractions here. But I was just saying that a year ago we started this because of the whole COVID situation, and we got on.
Why do I have all these things on my screen?
I don't know.
Look,
it's Instagram.
It's over my, oh well.
It's over your face.
My hair doesn't look that good today, so it's okay.
Gary, your hair never looks that good.
What do you mean, what hair? It took a long time for those three hairs to look just right, okay? So what did you say about me? That it was a year ago.
So we were just talking about, how we did this a year ago. Do you remember?
Yep. And congratulations. It's a year later and you're still doing it.
I know. In the last year, besides, of course, you're the most important guest we had. But, over the last year, we've had over 30 guests on Designers at Home. And I just wanted to kind of name a few so we can just show people what a wide variety of people we work with in our industry and interface with, and people connected to our industry too, not necessarily just people we work with. But we had Barbara Guggenheim, who's America's leading art consultant. We've had New York fashion consultant Timothy Pope. We had Daniel Kershaw from the Metropolitan Museum in New York. He's the lead exhibition designer at the Met. Kimberly Davis, who is the director of the LA Louvre Art Gallery, joined us. And from the Newport Preservation Society, we had Leslie Jones. Tom Felicia, designer and celebrity from New York. He was a star on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. He's been on our show. And we also had Leslie Mickelson, who was fascinating. She's the curator at Shangri-La, which is the Doris Duke Foundation and Museum in Honolulu. And Los Angeles designer Jim Magny and Leo Marmol, architect and wonderful artist. And then just a host of other designers, architects, and people associated with our business. So it's really been a lot of fun doing this. And
well, I got to say that over the year, after me, you really raised the bar. I mean, I'm impressed. I don't know why you started so low, but I think you've done a great job, and I get people talking about it a lot. So, kudos to you for doing that.
Well, it's kind of great, I think, that we can bring these people in and discuss different aspects of our business. A lot of people think that designers just come in and make a room pretty, and they don't know the complexity of what we do and
Correct.
the amount of detailing and work and thought and planning that goes into things, and also the people that we collaborate with too, Gary.
Right.
I mean, it's like
there's so
today
many.
here.
It takes a village to pull off what we do.
Yes.
It's an industry that seems glamorous and easy, but it's not. And we both love it, but we both know the pitfalls of it and the work that goes involved. But I'm fortunate to work with such amazing craftsmen, showrooms, a variety of people, artists that make our lives easier. We both have amazing staffs, even though my staff is all gone because they all have kids now. I can't wait for their kids to go back to school. So I think we're fortunate in that respect. And during the year, I think it was interesting how easily we adapted, because we're continuing to work during that period. Our store was closed, but the design studio was open. And we had many projects that were in construction, or the clients still wanted to continue to work. So that's where I'm really grateful and thankful. And we both have long-term clients that we love and adore that make our lives so great that it made it easy to adapt to this period.
Yeah. No, it's been great.
Mark, how do I get rid of all these people that are, do you see all the names on my face?
Yeah, that's part of the Instagram. It's just part of the Instagram platform, Gary. There's nothing you can do about it. And, the nice thing is that they're all fans.
I'm going to look in between the lines and see.
Yeah.
Does everyone see it like that?
Yeah, I don't know, but those are all your fans, Gary.
Really? Woody Arnold? Come on.
So, also during this past year, we've been doing a class together for UCLA for Eleanor Schrader's class.
Right.
And we were doing, prior to COVID, we were each doing our own sessions with the UCLA students. And since COVID, Eleanor has had you and I together for a 3-hour program in one of her final classes. And it's really been a lot of fun to do that together. Don't you think?
I've really enjoyed it. I've done it for years with Eleanor, who's just a wonderful person, a wealth of knowledge. And unfortunately, for many years, I did it with Rocky LaFleur, who sadly passed this past few months. Mm-hmm. And he was a great character to do the class with, and then, which was a whole different perspective. And now, you being such a great friend, and our styles are different, but the basic philosophy of design is still there. That we enjoy it. I mean, you sometimes dread going to class, and then once you get into it, and then the enthusiasm of the students really gets the adrenaline flowing, and it's that paying it forward, sharing our knowledge of 45 years of design, I think is important to do that.
No, it's really wonderful. And, the response that both of us have gotten from that class is remarkable.
Yes.
I've run into students and gotten letters, and I know you have too, from students that say, after listening to your class, it helped me in procuring a job. We went out and got a job while I was in school, and thank you for all the information that you gave us. So that's really rewarding to think that you can, and I think that's why we both feel so strong about mentoring. I think when you reach a point in your career, it's nice to be able to give back, especially to people who are anxious and who want to learn.
When you started, I know you went to Woodbury, and did you have the desire, or did you have the ability to have mentorships or internships when you were in school? Because I didn't. I mean,
No, I didn't at all. And, I've talked about this with other people on Designers at Home. When I went to school, the design industry was really in its infancy. So when you
right,
and I started, it was a very different industry today.
right,
Today, it's like this program we're doing right now. It's not just design, it's entertainment on television, it's entertainment on social media, there's shelter magazines, there's just dozens of shelter magazines. That didn't exist. There was, I think, Architectural Digest and House and Garden and House Beautiful were the only
right.
shelter magazines at that time. And the
And
whole
now,
industry has evolved and changed in the last, 40, 50
exactly.
years tremendously.
Did you, when you first started, because when I first started out of high school, I went to a junior college because I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
And I took art classes and had a blast, and I just was always creative. But did you, when you started, did you know that you wanted to be an interior designer? I thought you said you wanted to be an architect at one point.
Yeah, I was going to study architecture, and I got sidetracked into design. But, the great thing about what we can do, it's like this job I'm at today. I mean, the room I'm in is not terribly inspiring because it's in construction. But one of my favorite things is the construction aspect of the project. I love working with the contractors, architects. So we get to do design, we get to work with architecture, we get to work with all different aspects of design. We're working with audio, video engineers. We're working with heating, air conditioning people because we have to place ducts and vents and so forth. And just everything that it takes into building a home, an office, a building. And by working with all these people over a period of years, you accumulate just all this knowledge and information that, just a normal decorator who's making a room pretty isn't going to do. So, and
I
this is the kind of information that we talk to the students about because they have to know what they will ultimately be involved with. Maybe their
right.
first few projects won't be as challenging or as involved as some of the ones we're currently working on. But,
Well,
as you're,
yeah,
go
I
on.
think the scope of work is varied in our industry, and we like ground up or redoing whole houses, and many people do a room or a kitchen, and they do small things, a sofa and a couple chairs, and that's more decorating. When you do design, you're working with an architect in a construction firm and a client, and you do multiple cities and multiple homes for clients. It's a whole different game. And us both being Virgos are so anal about everything, and we're really organized, which is a really helpful trait.
And detail oriented, yeah.
Very much. And you pay attention to the subtleties and the things that are important. And you have to look at the big picture, but sometimes these little details, the slightest little turn of an angle of something, of a chair or whatever, makes a difference in your mind's eye. And those are the things that make you want clients to keep coming back to you.
Yes. And also, we're very reliant on the vendors that we work with. 2 days ago, I was down at the Paul Ferranti warehouse, and I was working with Alex, and I think Alex is watching. He said he was going to watch us this morning.
Oh,
Hi,
great.
Alex.
I love Alex.
Alex was showing me this plaque that they made for you from your design for your project in Lake Tahoe. And it was really, it's whimsical, but it was just absolutely fabulous. And their execution of it was just, it was just impeccable. So anyway, I took a picture of it. It's really great. But it's people like that in our industry who support us, who work with us, that, we're so fortunate to have.
Right.
And a lot of times they don't get the credit that they deserve.
Alex, I think what we do is we're artists in the bigger picture, and the visualization and things that we create is an art form on a big format. And the thing this medallion that you're talking about at Ferranti's, which I just love everybody there. They're so talented, and they do beautiful work and beautiful finishes. The medallion's 6 feet wide. It's going on gates of a property in Tahoe. And it is amusing because it's two critters, a bear and a deer in a canoe, you know, and it's just, it makes you laugh. And that was the whole thing behind it is it's an introduction to the property, but there's whimsy involved.
Yeah.
Most of my day-to-day life is about whimsy and having a good time. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel. And the beauty of what we get to do is the clients we get to work with that are such successful business people. We've worked with celebrities. We worked with a variety of clients. And both of us have had clients for so many years and done multiple homes. And, you know, they're like our patrons because the trust and the latitude that they give us is so nice because there's an unwritten language that you don't have to start fresh. It's just, here's a new place we're doing in Vail. Do your thing. And of course there's opinions from the clients, but most of our clients kind of give us such latitude to be creative. And it's such a nice forum to work in. Mm-hmm. And I know you have the same thing. And these clients become such good friends and almost extended family. And I think we're very lucky to have that. I don't see it as much in the current trend of younger designers. Not to say that it doesn't happen because I kind of stay in my bubble now. I mean, doing it for so many years, I'm not out and about. In this past year, none of us were really out and about. So you kind of don't know everything what's going on in the world in this small little village that we have called LA. But I think social media, you get a touch of what everyone's up to, which is nice. And then with you doing these talks, you know, every month, do you do them every month or every week?
No, it's every 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow.
Well, obviously you're not listening, Gary. You were just busted.
I love all your work. I think you're just amazing. Now, I have listened to several of them, but you know, 10 o'clock is like, we're just getting going and it's hard to listen to it. And, I do feel that we're fortunate in the vendors. We have so many vendors like Ferranti's, Key Hall at Kaufman Tout. There's so many people that we work with. I was thinking last night of when I first opened my store, which was next door to where we are now, Gail and Charles of Dos Gallos. And I remember that I found the space. I wanted a showroom and then the office, but I didn't have much. I needed some bigger pieces. And I called them up. I says, what can I borrow from you? And they were so generous. Just come over and just pick what you want and put it in the showroom. And that was part of the beginning. But that's how you develop these great friendships. And they're just dear people, Dos Gallos, and they're funny as hell. And that's the beauty of many of my friends. The circle of friends are from the design industry.
Yes. So Gary, let's talk for a minute about Gibson, your shop on Beverly, because this last year people were in quarantine. They weren't able to go out and shop. So how did you survive the year?
The first probably 4 or 5 months, the store was closed. In the back is our design studio. So like I said, we were able to continue to work. I would call you a lot for lunch. I would go walking, right? You know, you had to isolate and you were part of the pod and, you know, you had your people you went to survive just for your social and your mental, you know, sanity. But we made it work. And we had a few sales during it, but very little because we really couldn't be open. Mm-hmm. And then after they started opening up the city, we were able to open the doors. And fortunately, having this for 20 years, which I can't believe, our regular clientele started to come back, you know, and so many designers were so busy, and which is great. And they would come in and they would need a lot of stuff for their installations. And that's what we're about. You know, this is the shop of, as you know, this is really funny because Mark comes in here and like, what is this shit you're selling, you know? And
well, you know, Gary, I like to say that you collect the rare and unusual, and most of the items I would describe as found curiosities. So, you know, it really is interesting because, you know, people's work and what they have personally is a reflection on them. And
Right.
your shop is an absolute time capsule of Gary Gibson.
True.
It's a glimpse into your world. So it's carefully curated. Things are beautifully arranged, but it's just a collection of
Stuff.
Gary Gibson.
Well,
So,
it's
you know,
interesting you say that.
can you turn around and kind of show everybody? Is there
Uh,
anything for you to show?
Let me see. Here we go. I'll give you a quick little tour. So I don't know how good this will be, but you can see some of the goodies that we have. And then I love vintage art, new contemporary art of artists that we represent, and furniture that we make. So you get a sense of a little bit, you know, as you look around, it's like just, I call it just, people say, what do you sell? I go, stuff. Because there's not a provenance necessarily to the pieces, but these are things that people, these are the things that people add to their homes for character and like personalized touches to their home. So, I mean, it just shows how kind of quirky I am. I collected as a kid, and I still do, and it's a real passion project for me.
But also, Gary, your clientele is not just designers. It's also film studios who are coming in and looking for props that are you know, unusual and interesting and quirky.
Correct.
Right?
I'm trying to split my phone back. Okay. Oh, there's a leak in here. Oh. Seriously. Oh my God. There's. Jesus.
You need to hire good designers to repair that, Derek.
Do you know any good designers?
No, unfortunately, no.
So to Mark, so you have a place, of course I know, up in Montecito. You had another previous home, and you just bought another home, a mid-century modern. And you're such a classicist in your styling. What are you going to do with this house?
Well, you've been to the house, so you know what it looks like. It was
right.
It was built in 1974, and we're actually going to tear the house down starting next week, and we're going to rebuild it from the ground up because there were so many problems, just inherent problems in the way that it's been built and remodeled. So it makes sense for us to tear it down and rebuild it from new. And, you know, when I started this and started thinking about this a year and a half ago, I thought, you know, this is a new direction for me because I am a classicist. I love classical pieces. I love classical art. I love classical architecture. And this is a modern house. It's a contemporary house. And I thought, I'm going to do everything mid-century modern. I'm going to go in a new direction. And over the course of the last year or so, I realized I'm no different than my clients, and I'm always talking to my clients and telling them, you know, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. You know what you're comfortable with, you know what you love, and at this point of your life, you really want to try something new that you're not really comfortable with. And, you know, I just thought, I know the types of things that I want to surround myself with and live with. And so I'm going to have a much more contemporary home, very clean lines, tall ceilings. I don't want a cold contemporary home. I want warmth. I'm going to have beautiful wood floors, but I'm going to surround myself with a combination of contemporary furniture and, like I always do, classical pieces. And I've started collecting things again. And because those are the things that I really love. And I think that's what we always tell our clients, Gary,
Yes.
is that, you know, you want to surround your self with things that mean something to you. I mean, anybody can go out and fill a house with things from a showroom and make it look good. Mm-hmm. So, but, you know, if these items don't have some value or personal merit or importance to you, or you're not emotionally connected, you're living in a vapid showroom.
And so many things from your previous home were things from travels and artwork furniture that you designed, pieces you saw in museums. And I'm sure we'll see it in the new house. So it'll be an interesting experience to see in this more modern kind of format. And the setting up there is beautiful. So it'll look, I'm sure it'll look amazing.
Yeah, one of the things I'm most excited about is the garden, because it's on almost 2 acres, and we have incredible oak trees, but everything else I'm going to do is going to be drought tolerant and all native landscape to Santa Barbara area. So it all looks native and appropriate.
Well,
so,
we should hurry up and finish it.
Yeah, me too. Well, 2 years and then we can give everybody a tour.
Okay.
So Gary, when you go about doing your place, is it like your shop? Is it a collection of, I know you have a lot of your favorite things in there.
Well, like the shop, it's like weirdness that I like to collect. There's things that have sentimental value, things as a kid that was given to me, lots of art. And I live in a high rise, and I have a condo, and I tore all the walls out. And the building is concrete, so I have concrete columns in it, so it's like a loft. And it's some of my own furniture design, found objects, but it's much more minimal than the showroom. It's not to the same degree as what we have here. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much the same as it's always been. I get the fulfillment of different things in the showroom. So when I go home, I want a little more calmness, because during the day we're so busy with clients and vendors and stuff. And it's just nice to go home and just chill out. So I like my surroundings fairly. I mean, they're not minimal, but they're not to the degree I have here.
Right.
And I have a big garden. It's like 10 feet by 30 feet on this high rise. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So
do you like collecting more than designing? What is your favorite?
Oh gosh. Like I said, I'm fortunate to have great clients. So I have great stories and, experiences with them, and continue to like that. I suppose at some point it would be great just to have a shop and buy and sell things, because there's something about that European atelier. The shopkeeper lives up above and the store down below. That mentality, that European feeling is so enjoyable to me. But, the beauty is my ADD kicks in and I get tired of the showroom. Then I go to furniture design. Then I go to the clients. So the beauty of the office and the store here together is that I can jump around to different things and not get bored. You know how it goes. It's just, there's days when it's like you just need to get out of the office, and that's when we bail and go to lunch. And you need that break, because the creative process doesn't happen. It's not black and white.
So I'm gonna. I think we mentioned this when we talked a year ago. But one of the things I'm so proud of you is that I know that Louis Vuitton puts out a shopping guide for all the major cities around the world. And in their Los Angeles guide, for 2 years in a row, they've mentioned Gibson as a must-go-to shop to see in Los Angeles. That's pretty cool.
I'm very proud of that. I mean, the irony that Louis Vuitton would put us in one of their travel guides, it doesn't seem like the right connection, but I'm very honored and flattered, and it's nice to be recognized that way, and that they appreciate it. I think the beauty of what we do, and you've said this many times about even designers, is there's something for everybody out there. And aesthetics, how you work, we can all do our thing in a variety of different ways, and a variety of shops. You need that. If it's all the same, then we don't need a variety of stores. So I think, for instance, here on Beverly, there's a variety of designers and different shops and different aesthetics. So people can walk in a 5-block radius and see a variety of aesthetics. Then your aesthetic, you're totally different, but you're, the hard part for you is you love to travel. And I think the pandemic has really put you, I think you're chomping at the bit to get out of the country. where do you think that you will go first when you can travel abroad?
Well, that's interesting because in 2 weeks I'm going to Hawaii.
I
So
know.
it's an
So
easy
envious.
place to travel to, and it's
Yes.
very safe. So
Right.
in 2 weeks, Fred and I are taking off for Hawaii for 8 days, and I'm so looking forward to this. You know, to breathe some clean, balmy, warm Hawaiian air. And I mean, I want to travel. I know you for the last year you haven't been able to go to your. You have another place in an art studio and home in Oregon.
So yeah, so I think this summer, June or July, I'm going to head up there
Right.
sometime, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, it's been
So
almost
you know,
it'll be a year and a half.
I've never visited
I know you
you
keep
up
on
there,
wanting to
but
come, and then the pandemic came.
right. Well, sometime in the next several months when it's safe, we're gonna make
Right,
a visit up there. But so
right.
is your studio there very reminiscent of the shop here on Beverly?
Yes, it's like a mini version of for this. It's a little cabin that has a kitchen and a loft, and then my painting studio is down below, and it's just a collection of stuff. You know, I for some reason it's comforting to me to have this stuff around me. It makes me happy. Like
Uh-huh.
your Greek or Roman artifacts make you happy. These are your Ruhlman desk or whatever, and it's so funny how we're such good friends and have the best time together, and we have this mutual respect, but our aesthetics are vastly different.
Yeah, very
But
different.
I think that shows, you know, that anybody can be friends regardless of whatever. And so, because we do laugh and giggle a lot, and we share stories, we share vendors, we talk about business, and we just talk about stupid stuff too. And
Kind of like this show today, right?
oh my God. See, a year later, you haven't elevated. You went down again, Mark. Now you have to
Well, we'll have to get some more important guests on
get
that.
some really important people on the show.
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
I am going to do, by the way, just I'm getting ready to, next year will be introduced, is a lighting collection for Kevin's company, Kevin Kalinowski, Fuse Lighting. So over the pandemic, I designed this lighting collection with him, and it'll be introduced next year. So I'm excited about that.
So can people see it on your website or what?
Well, there's nothing to see yet. We won't launch it till next year. We were trying to do this year, but it got too backed up. So we'll do it next year.
Oh,
I'm
good.
excited for that. So that'll be nice. Yeah. And Kevin's such a great guy.
Yeah. So where are you going to head when you can first travel? I think that's what everybody I know is that's the first thing they want to do is start traveling.
I want to go
going
to
somewhere.
Italy. I want to go to Italy. You know, I'd like to go to Florence. You know, Tuscany is just so incredible. You know, Italy in general is an amazing place. The food, the country, the people. And I've been watching this Stanley Tucci thing on CNN about food. And it really kind of like, oh, it's pulling at me. Like, come to Italy, please. But, you know, I think they're shut down right now. So it'll be a bit before we get to go abroad.
Well, it's all going to happen. And, you know, I'm with you. I think I'll travel just about anywhere, but probably Italy would be probably at the top of my list, I guess, too.
So what are you doing today at this job site? Is it just a site meeting to review things, or what are you doing?
Well, the client was in our office yesterday, and we made some final decisions on all of the materials, background materials, furniture, and so forth to go in the house. And we're down here today meeting with the stone people that are doing the marble. You know, we're meeting drywallers, window people, the fellow who's fabricating this iron stair rails and so forth, and kind of tying up all these loose ends. And we're setting up a presentation. Her husband is going to be here tomorrow, so he can see what we're doing.
Nice.
So it's really it's been a lot of fun. And I know you have a project also in Newport Beach, and
we
it's
do.
a very similar, they're both very contemporary houses on the ocean.
Very.
So
really modern.
But it's turning out beautifully, and you know, the client's just so much fun to work with. We're having a great time doing this. So
yeah, we have a great client down there too, and the house, ours has turned out. You know, sometimes you see it in plans, and as it's being built. This one has turned out so much better than I even envisioned it, and it's a pleasant surprise. I knew it would be nice, but I'm really happy with everything that we did. So it's really gratifying, and the client, you know, they let me do what I want, basically. So
well, that's what you said earlier, Gary, about having long-term clients. It's what's so great about building relationships with people,
yep.
And friends, clients, and so forth, because it makes the project a pleasure to work with. You're more than happy to, you know, do everything you can for the client. You want to make something special for them.
Yep.
So that's great. So, you know, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Is there any word of wisdom you want to leave people with?
Oh God, hire a designer. You know?
Yes. Hire me.
Hire me. Hire
Yes.
me or Mark. Okay.
Okay.
No. Thank you.
Anyway,
Mark.
so Gary, thank you for doing this with me a year later. I'm kind of wondering, do you think that we're going to be doing this another year from now?
I think you're going to do it for a bit. Yeah. I think we're not out of the woods totally yet. I mean, we're vaccinated, but still. We'll see.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be here in another year. So, all right.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Gary, and I'll see you in the next few days.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation, Gary and myself. We've been friends for probably close to 40 years or so. Anyway, I'm not going to have, in 2 weeks, we're not going to have a Designers at Home since I'm going to be in Hawaii. But we're going to resume, I think, on April 30th, and our guest is going to be Los Angeles designer Kirk Nix, and I think you're going to find him very, very interesting. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Gary, and we'll talk to you on April 30th. We'll see you. Bye-bye.